On this episode of Bizarre Murders, an arson allegedly set by local gangs uncovers the actions of a reclusive anti-drug crusader.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business.
The heinous plot of a die-hard partier.
You want the bottle so badly, go and drink it.
A tale of twisted family loyalty and revenge. And one dead body leaves police with the loathsome job of sifting through the ashes, looking for the murderer. Kimmy is a quiet, unassuming 55-year-old woman who recently retired from her job as a dental hygienist.
How we doing?
All right.
A little drowsy?
Yeah.
She built herself a nice little nest egg and had plans to spend the rest of her days enjoying her retirement. That was the plan until her house is torched. A gas-fueled inferno that could only be the work of arsonists.
So Gladys, you want to tell me what's going on here?
Listen, you gotta do something about this woman.
Detective Grant, the responding officer, learns that Kimmy, while quiet, is very protective of her neighborhood.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business, and it's just driving us all nuts.
She's been on a personal crusade to take down the drug dealers who are taking over her neighborhood. She's even gone as far as installing cameras on her porch to gather evidence against the drug dealers, and then sending the tapes to police to shame them into doing something. People were taking notice.
So here we have a quiet, middle-aged woman who likes to knit, who's decided to take the law into her own hands. In my experience as a former FBI agent, that is never a good idea. I get it. You want to do something. It's her neighborhood. But when you play with fire, you will get burned.
Fire! Fire!
Kimmy's house has been torched at least 2 times before, luckily without too much damage. But the drug dealer's scare tactics don't deter her. If anything, it fuels her personal fire to clean up her neighborhood.
She's the problem here, and you gotta do something about it.
While some neighbors see Kimmy as a superhero with her anti-drug crusade,
We can't put up with this anymore.
I'll look into it.
others think she's being reckless, endangering the neighborhood further, and that she has to be stopped.
And today's top story, local woman being heralded as a hero after her home is burned to the ground, and what police suspect is retribution by local drug dealers.
The news of Kimmy's heroic fight against the city's drug dealers goes citywide.
Neighbors say the woman was leading the fight against drugs and corruption in the community.
Throngs of well-wishers send money to cover her medical expenses. A contractor offers to rebuild her house. And the governor offers a reward for help with the case.
You're making me blush. Stop.
Overnight, she's gone from zero to hero.
When a case is splashed all over the news, it's a double-edged sword. It can be good and it can be bad. The good news is that it can drum up lots of leads and potential suspects. The bad news is it can drum up lots of leads because chasing those leads involves a lot of manpower, and most of the leads end up being dead ends. But the one thing you can always count on when the media is all over a case, it's going to put a lot of pressure on you to solve the crime, and fast. Hi, Kimmy.
Hello.
I'm Detective Grant.
Oh, nice to meet you.
With neighborhood interviews turning up little to no information, Detective Grant arrives at the hospital to question Kimmy.
You've become quite a sensation.
People have been very kind to me.
Yeah. So, have you had any arguments or disagreements with anyone in your neighborhood recently?
Not directly, no.
And this was your family home? When the investigators interview victims or perpetrators, they're looking as much at how things are being said as what is being said. Is there anything that doesn't quite fit? And Kimmy does not come across as the reserved woman people claim she is. So what could this mean? Is it trauma from the fire? Is she still in shock? Or is there something else going on?
Do you think there's anyone else besides drug dealers who might have burned your house down?
No.
The one question the cops can't shake: if drug dealers wanted Kimmy out of the way for retribution, why would they burn her house down? It's just not their style.
Detective Grant reaches out to his informants
Yeah, it's Grant.
to size up if they know anything about both the fire and drug dealers who might have had a vendetta against Kimmy. But no one has even heard of her.
It makes sense that there are no solid leads coming from the street. I mean, junkies and drug dealers don't get revenge like that. More pokers are needed for this fire. These punks are more gun and knives people. Either way, they wouldn't risk the heat of killing a civilian. I'm no mathematician, but this doesn't add up.
Suspecting there's more to this crime than meets the eye, Detective Grant starts digging into Kimmy's personal life.
What you doing?
Hey, hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Turns out she has a sister,
Enough of that.
Karen,
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip cookies.
You're so good to me.
who has lived with her for the past 15 years.
You're looking a bit wobbly there.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
And where Kimmy is reserved and quiet, Karen is a partier with shady friends and is known to make bad decisions.
I can see something
I
there.
have a favor to ask. I
Yeah,
have
shoot.
a
Shoot,
date
Luke.
tonight.
A date?
Yes.
All right. Maybe you should stop drinking so much before the date.
No, I'm just getting loose. I got a party hardy tonight because I'm going to impress them.
The neighbors talk about how close the two sisters are, that they even look alike.
So I need to borrow $200 from you.
But they also often hear them arguing,
I just gave you $400.
I know, but that was just for living stuff.
especially over money.
It's going to be such a special night, please.
Kimmy supports Karen, giving her an allowance,
I'm gonna have to say that the door's closed on the bank today, Kimmy.
which she quickly burns through.
Look at me that way, please. I've done nothing but support you.
You know this is special and
You
it
need
means
to
a
stop
lot
that.
to me.
You need to stop. I'm not going to fight you over it. You want the bottle so badly? Go and drink it. Go on. That's where the money seems to be going anyway.
You're doing this.
I'm sorry. This is for your own good. How do they look? I don't wear them that often, so I'm going to depend on you.
Oh, they look fabulous.
Okay, and where do you want me to look for them?
Just straighten the lens and talk to your audience.
Okay.
And go.
I don't know who set fire to my house, but I do know that they wanted me dead.
Detective Grant returns to the hospital to question Kimmy
It will take a lot more than setting fire to my house 4 times
and is once again met by a media circus.
from the dirty, rotten drug dealers that have infested our streets.
Great. Good job.
Thank you.
So, Kimmy, I understand you have a sister, which you conveniently left out the first time we spoke.
It must have slipped my mind from the trauma of the fire.
Kimmy reveals that Karen left for Atlantic City with her boyfriend a few days before the arson.
So Kimmy has a sister, Karen, who looks a lot like her, and this is the first investigators are hearing about it? That is a red flag if I've ever seen one. And there's a second red flag. Where is Karen? Her sister Kimmy's face has been plastered all over the news and not even a phone call to check in. Something does not smell right.
Working a hunch, Detective Grant returns to Kimmy's home with the arson team. This time, looking for evidence of a crime the fire was meant to cover up. He discovers a freezer, blackened from the fire, and wrapped in what seems to be duct tape. Inside are remains that appear to be human. The fire has melted the freezer seals, letting in the heat and essentially turning the freezer into an oven.
Grant's hunch was right. The fire was a cover-up. This case has gone from arson to a murder investigation like that. The question is, whose baked remains are those in the freezer?
Yeah, I'm looking for the patient in room 4A. She checked herself out.
Against doctor's orders, Kimmy has discharged herself, taking with her several large donation checks she received from her well-wishers.
Okay, can we toss out the theory that drug dealers were targeting the house? Clearly something more sinister is going on. Our little Miss Hero Kimmy has some talking to do.
What else do I need? How about a vacation?
Kimmy cashes out on some of that sympathy money. In particular, a $2,500 check from a generous donor.
Find a body, lose a body. This investigation is stalled again. We'd put out a BOLO, or for those not as familiar with police jargon, be on the lookout, to track the victim, who may now be a perpetrator, but actually it's two now. Both sisters are unaccounted for. This is an all-points bulletin, and that's APB.
With both Kimmy and Karen missing, the investigation has stalled. But then Detective Grant catches a lucky break.
Please, open up.
He gets a tip that Kimmy has been seen checking into a motel.
Detective Grant, surprised to see you here.
Hi, Kimmy. So, what are you doing here?
Hey, I'm chilling out and I'm relaxing. It was a tough time in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a few questions for you.
Okay.
Maybe you'll come downtown, have a little chat.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'll just get my things and... All right. Okay.
Whose body's in your freezer?
Oh, Detective, I've told you 100 times already. I don't know whose body is in the freezer.
Detective Grant grills Kimmy for hours.
Well, where's your sister, Carrie?
Again, as I've said, she's in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Yes.
Okay.
But Kimmy insists that she doesn't know where in Atlantic City Karen is staying and has no way of contacting her.
I'll be back.
With the interrogation sitting at a stalemate, a surprising document falls into Detective Grant's lap. Turns out, another family member who lives in a different town has filed a missing persons report on Kimmy. Because family members haven't seen or heard from her in over a month.
I'd like to think that we can get the facts straight as investigators were able to see the forest for the trees. But even I'm confused by this one. The woman sitting in the interrogation room is Kimmy. But now there's a missing persons report for Kimmy. Then who is sitting in that chair in the interrogation room?
Yeah, it's Grant. This report, is this for real?
When Detective Grant receives the autopsy report, things go from strange to bizarre. The coroner has determined the body in the freezer has been stabbed multiple times, then chopped up with an axe, bagged, and stuffed into the freezer over a month ago.
You're sure about this?
The coroner also has ID on the body.
All right. So who are you?
Excuse me, I'm Kimmy.
I just got off the phone with the coroner. That body in your freezer, that's Kimmy.
That can't be. They must have made a mistake.
The autopsy report states that the body parts lying in the morgue belong to Kimmy. And yet, even when confronted with this evidence, she stands by her story.
This situation is particularly strange because you have someone who's been on TV all over the nation, a case the FBI would call a special, a high-profile case that can possibly speed up solving the crime. First, Kimmy's the victim of a crime by supposed drug dealers. Then she's reported as missing when she clearly isn't. Now she's supposed to be dead, lying on a slab in the morgue. Is Kimmy really Karen, or is Karen really Kimmy?
The only way to prove who is with fingerprints. But to get a match, whoever Kimmy really is will have to have a criminal record with prints on file.
So, you want to tell me what Kimmy was doing in your freezer?
Unlike people, fingerprints don't lie. Kimmy's prints match those of a woman arrested for prostitution 10 years earlier. And wait for it, the prints belong to none other than the elusive sister, Karen. Single white female, anyone?
Faced with the incontrovertible proof of her identity, the woman claiming to be Kimmy comes clean.
All right. I'm Karen. Ah, look at Kimmy baking again.
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. Listen, I met this guy.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And I need some money. I'm out of money.
Well, Karen, I just gave you $400.
Well, that was 2 days ago, Kimmy. Come on, you know how it is.
I'm really tired of this. I am. Would you just stop drinking?
No, I'm not gonna stop drinking. I think I'll have another one.
No.
Don't touch me! All I want is some money. Don't you touch me again.
I'm not giving you any more money.
But there's another twist in store for detectives.
I swear to you, on my mother's best china, I did not kill my sister, Kimmy.
I don't buy it, Karen. You're the only one who had anything to gain by her death. You gotta come clean.
It wasn't me.
Detective Grant charges Karen with murder and fraud.
It turns out Karen was impersonating her sister Kimmy, and a big part of the reason she was able to get away with it for so long is that the sisters looked a lot alike. But once you've caught a perp red-handed, finding out the rest of the story is just knocking the first domino down.
Under mounting pressure in the courtroom and faced with the undeniable evidence against her, Kimmy finally cracks and spills the beans on the entire sordid affair. Kimmy was tired of being Karen's meal ticket, and when she learned her sister had forged her signature to cash 4 of her annuity checks.
What are these?
It's no big deal. They're checks. They're just checks.
They're checks with my name on them.
She threatens to cut her off.
It's over.
What do you mean it's over?
I want you out.
To the outside world, the look-alike sisters appear close. But in reality, Karen harbors a deep-seated resentment towards Kimmy.
After all that I've done?
I'm so tired of hearing about everything that you've done for me. You're right. I'm a worthless piece of cow manure.
She envies her success and money, and she's not happy with the meager allowance Kimmy gives her.
Get out!
This is my house, too.
When Karen saw her personal ATM closing its doors, she came up with a new retirement plan. If Kimmy wasn't going to take care of Karen, then Karen was going to take care of Kimmy. As far as motives go, this is one we see every day: greed. Karen wanted Kimmy's annuities and the fire insurance money. What we don't see every day is someone cutting up their sister, putting the pieces in a freezer, and then setting the house on fire. That takes it to the next level. I'm no psychologist, but the word I have for a person who can do that with no remorse is psychopath.
Karen had assumed Kimmy's identity, allowing her access to her sister's insurance policies, bank accounts, and retirement checks. The media attention and cash donations from well-wishers was a happy bonus.
Karen had everyone fooled for the short time she was Kimmy, despite the fact that the look-alike sisters had completely different personalities. And she really was a chameleon, able to change herself into who she needed to be to get what she wanted, and that is, at least until she got caught.
In the act of burning the family home for insurance money, Karen herself got burned. Karen is found guilty of murder and fraud-related charges. She's sentenced to life without the chance of parole.
In all my years as an investigator, I've seen a lot of truly bizarre cases. But a sister killing her own sister and then impersonating her for money, and then become famous for it? She's a fiery one. She had everyone duped, and it was bold, I'll give her that. But that kind of daring doesn't last for long. The law always wins.
On this episode of Bizarre Murders, a summer town where hundreds of people are out enjoying what the beach and the bars have to offer. Local police have their hands full with drunken disorderlies and petty crimes. But what looks like a bungled burglary
Down on your knees.
takes investigators down a dark and twisted path that's anything but fun in the sun. Tybee Island is a beach town near Savannah, Georgia. On the off-season, it's laid back and quiet. But starting on Memorial Day weekend, its population explodes with vacationers looking to let their hair down and have a good time on and off the beach.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy a vacation as much as anyone else, maybe more. But as a former FBI agent, I've seen tourists do some risky things they'd never think of doing at home. You know, like the saying goes, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But in my experience, it's that kind of thinking, or rather not thinking, that can get you into trouble.
All along the Strip, people are in a holiday weekend party mode. Like Carrie and Mike, who've driven down to Tybee Island for the long weekend. They met at work a year ago. Barely a month into their relationship, they move in together. This is their first vacation as a couple.
All right.
But maybe.
These two hardly know each other, and now they're away for the first time in Party Central. We might be in for an episode of Couple Gone Wild.
At the bar, Carrie and Mike's private party of two is about to expand.
You guys are okay if we take this out of the bar, right?
Oh, sure, please. Free country. Welcome.
Oh, yours. I'm Lacey, by the way.
Hi.
Carrie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Lacey and Jason are a young married couple in town for a 2-week vacation. Lacey met Jason at a party in college. She was a volleyball star. He was a Marine. 3 weeks into their relationship, they eloped to Las Vegas.
What's that saying? Fools rush in? Well, we've got two couples that are pretty impetuous when it comes to relationships. You bring them together, and it's anybody's guess what's going to go down.
Cheers.
Very quickly, the two couples hit it off. A few hours and many drinks later, the two couples are acting like they've known each other forever.
Vacation brain has a way of making everybody fast friends. Of course, throwing a whole lot of booze into the mix doesn't hurt either. But alcohol has a way of lowering inhibitions and dulling your senses. Let's just say your judgment might not be the most astute.
Why don't we head back?
Last call's approaching, but Lacey and Carrie are not ready for the night to be over.
Go back to our beach house.
Love it. That is a good idea if ever I heard one.
Lacey and Jason are staying in a beach house rental of Tibby Island's most upscale condo complex.
Hey guys.
Oh, hey, we're on camera now.
Take a photo of us.
Oh, okay. Come here. All right.
You got this.
All right, show me the magic. All right, you are a vision of loveliness. Excellent. There we are. Fantastic.
Oh, beautiful ring.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My purse is missing. Carrie, wake up. Where's my purse?
What do you mean?
It's gone. And my bracelet was in it. It's an $8,000 diamond bracelet in it. I saw you eyeing that bracelet at the bar.
You definitely had it at the bar.
Jason, she stole my purse.
What?
Come on, get up. Where is it? Check your pockets.
I'm not showing you my pockets. You don't have to.
This is all I have.
If you can't find it, we'll help you look for it. It's okay.
That bracelet.
Maybe you just left it at the
I saw
bar.
you were eyeing it at the bar.
We didn't do a thing. It's
please,
okay.
You commented on it, and I know you stole it. Where is it?
I would not.
Please calm down.
Tell me to calm down.
What?
4 total strangers under the influence. Great. Inhibitions are low, so it's no surprise emotions are running high. We're in dangerous territory now. There's no way to actually know what anyone will do or what they're really up to.
The next day, it would appear that the previous night's drama was resolved.
Come on, baby, let's go.
Ready, baby? Let's go.
Jason and Lacey head out, taking full advantage of what Tibby Island has to offer.
Okay. You are gonna go right there.
Later, surrounded by her crafting tools, Lacey documents every moment of the weekend in her scrapbook.
Perfect.
She's been scrapbooking since she was a kid, and a little obsessed with it.
Cute. Oh, what a wonderful day.
Meanwhile, Carrie and Mike are no-shows for work.
All right, so how long? Oh, okay, so ever in that 15 years, did he ever show up late? Not even miss a meeting? It's not uncommon for people to extend their vacations. Rick, am I right? Yeah, it happens all the time. Bye.
Past behavior is usually a good indicator of future behavior. People aren't as wild and crazy as they'd like to think. In fact, the vast majority act according to predictable patterns. If Carrie and Mike have a history of being dependable, then not showing up for work should raise flags.
After 3 days and still no sign of Mike or Carrie, the police launch an official investigation. They distribute posters and post them around town. Detectives go to the couple's rental condo and find their car still parked in the driveway.
Suitcases look like they're still being lived out of. Clothes on the bed.
Inside, Carrie and Mike's personal items appear untouched.
Toothbrush looks like it has been used not too long ago.
Except there's no trace of their IDs, purse, or wallets.
No IDs could mean that Carrie and Mike have taken off on their own, or they've met with foul play. Missing persons cases are some of the toughest investigations you'll get. There's no body, there's no obvious crime scene, and people don't just vanish in a puff of smoke. They usually leave some trace behind. Actually, the fact that they disappeared without a trace is evidence in and of itself. So where do you start? You start with motive. You start by digging into their background.
Detectives do background checks on the couple and discover that Mike's cousin was murdered 2 years before. They wonder if he might have killed Carrie and gone on the run.
Hi. Hi, this is Detective Suarez. Can I speak to Michelle, please? Yes, Michelle. I'm calling in regards to your ex-husband, Mike.
But all the people they interview, including his ex-wife, the mother of his daughter, swear Mike is the kindest person they know.
Kindest? Okay.
He was absolutely devoted to Carrie. He's simply not capable of murder. Detectives track Mike's credit card to a popular bar on the Strip. When they question the bar staff, nobody remembers seeing Carrie and Mike.
No evidence or witnesses. That's a surefire sign of a case that could easily go cold. This is usually when you hope to catch a lucky break. And if you're hoping for a break, you're in trouble. And if there's one thing I've learned in my career, that break usually comes when the killer gets cocky and does something stupid. They may be criminals, but they are not Einsteins.
Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the police, the last two people Carrie and Mike might have been seen with have an itch they need to scratch. Turns out, Jason and Lacey are anything but the all-American couple. Jason was dishonorably discharged from the Marines for bad conduct. And soon after they got married, they got into partying and serious drugs. But the novelty wears off quickly, and burglary becomes their new rush. And their preferred fix? Ripping off the adult sex store chain Busted.
As gross as it sounds, for some people, committing a crime gives them the same thrill and excitement as does sex. But get away with it once, and you start to get overconfident, and that's when things can go sideways. Trust me, sooner or later, you're gonna have an off night.
Lacey and Jason have no idea they've tripped the silent alarm.
Step away from the car. Down on your knees. Put your hands behind your head. Take the masks off, now.
Caught in the act, Lacey starts to have a full-blown panic attack.
Hang your back.
Please. I need my anxiety meds, please.
Where are they?
They're in my purse.
A burglar that suffers from panic attacks? I'm not sure she's in the right line of work.
What is all this?
But instead of pills, he finds Carrie and Mike's IDs.
What is this?
I don't know who they are. I found them on the beach.
When police search their car, they find a loaded Glock. Things aren't looking too good for our missing couple, Carrie and Mike.
This suggests to police that Lacey and Jason are into something more nefarious than your run-of-the-mill B&Es. There's no doubt these two are not in the right line of work. Instead of laying low, they commit a petty crime. They get caught and happen to be carrying incriminating evidence on them. Can you spell D-U-M-B?
Detectives suspect Jason and Lacey of kidnapping Carrie and Mike, given the items they were carrying during their arrest. But there's no sign of Carrie or Mike at Jason and Lacey's beach house rental. Instead, they find empty bullet casings, a missing door to a bedroom, paint and cleaning supplies. And on the carpet near the bed, 2 more cartridges with what looks like dried blood on them. And on the side of the bed, blood stains.
The lengths people will go to try and cover up a crime always gets me. But a word to the wise, there's no way a lick of fresh paint will ever eliminate all the traces of blood and DNA. And if you're gonna murder someone, you might not want to leave spent bullet casings lying around in plain sight.
All right, Jason. I got a lot of time. Where are they?
As CSI continue to search the house, detectives put Jason in the hot seat.
I know you know where they are. DNA's right over here. Nothing? Why is the door missing from your door frame? Why are there cleaning supplies? Why is there paint? Doing a little remodeling? No? See if you start speaking with these. Shell casings found in your apartment. Is that for the mister? This one for the missus? Where are they, Jason?
But Jason's not saying a thing.
To make a murder conviction stick beyond a reasonable doubt, you need bodies. But if one member of this criminal tag team isn't talking, that's when you go work the other.
You know what this is right here? DNA report.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
It was a rental. It wasn't my place.
Oh, yeah? Well then, explain this. Bullet casings found in the apartment 1 and number 2. Tell me where they are. All right? At this point, it's you against Jason. You need to do what's right.
Detectives present Lacey with a proposition.
Okay.
Reduce time if she tells them what happened.
Jason did it. He fired 2 bullets through the door, and
Lacey tells police that Jason killed both victims and forced her to help him with the cover-up.
he forced me to clean it up.
She claims she's terrified of him.
You don't understand, he's crazy. When he got back from the Marines, he wasn't the same. He'd have night terrors, and he had to have everything a certain way. And he bought a gun for me for protection.
Wake up! Lacey, wake up, I got you something. Come on, get up. Are you ready? You ready? Do you want to see it? Take it. Take it!
He became fascinated with killing. He talked about murdering someone completely random.
Bang!
No obvious motive makes it easier to get away with it, and he wanted Lacey
Bang!
to help.
You like it? You love it, don't you?
Yeah.
It's ours now.
Okay.
I love you.
But I was scared I was gonna have to use it to him.
It's not unusual for an abused wife to fall in line because she fears retaliation from her husband. And Lacey just painted a pretty compelling picture of Jason's motive and means for targeting Carrie and Mike. They were complete strangers. Right now, he looks good as the mastermind behind the murders.
See, I gave you an opportunity to come clean, but it's fine because Lacey said you did it.
But when detectives tell Jason Lacey pinned the murder on him, he breaks his silence.
She's insane. She's completely insane.
Jason tells police that once they got married, Lacey became increasingly jealous and possessive and wanted him to cut all ties with his Marine buddies.
Hey, babe.
She would freak out if he even got home late.
Where have you been?
I was
Where have you
at
been,
work.
Jason?
I was at work.
You were at work? This late? And you didn't call?
Okay,
You were out with your friends, weren't you?
only for a bit. We were just
Marine
talking.
friends, weren't you? Is that who you were out with?
Babe, I'm sorry.
What did I tell you about those guys? I told you not to see them.
And I'm sorry. Baby.
Don't get near me.
I wasn't there when it happened. I was asleep in my car. I didn't even hear the shots. When I came in, they were both already dead. She was freaking out. Yeah, I helped her cut up the bodies.
Jason claims Lacey's the real killer. I can't tell you how common it is during an interrogation at the FBI for people to turn on their supposed loved ones to save their own skin. Till death do us part, right? No. Apparently, he was napping in his car when Lacey killed Mike and Carrie in a drug and alcohol-induced rage. He just helped her dismember and dispose of the bodies. Oh, is that all? No problem. Police need to find Mike and Carrie's bodies. That's the only way they're gonna figure out what really happened that night and make sure neither of these two lovebirds get away with murder.
After striking a deal for a more lenient sentence in exchange for her cooperation, Lacey tells the police she and Jason drove across state lines and dumped Mike and Carrie's bodies in a dumpster. Police find the partial remains in a landfill. The only part of Carrie they recover is her right arm. All they find of Mike is his upper torso and head. The lab removes a slug from Mike's head, and it matches the Glock the police found in Jason and Lacey's car. The evidence CSI has collected from the beach house rental is filling in the blanks. But it's Lacey's scrapbook that seals the deal. In it, there's a photo of Lacey wearing Mike's ring on a chain around her neck.
Keeping souvenirs to sit back and relive the crime over and over is sick, but it's something killers do because they're sick. But most don't lay them out in a collage with pretty paper and glitter and hearts. The evidence does not support our scrapbooker's claim that her husband did all the dirty work.
Part of Lacey's plea deal is to pass a polygraph test first.
What I found here. Crazy for scrapbooking.
But when she's confronted with the scrapbook, she cracks.
Oh, there we got you, sporty me. Nice little butterflies. Butterflies your thing? Oh, the best day ever. You guys can recreate this photo in the prison chapel. Ooh.
Fine. Met them at the bar. And they came back to the house. And things got a little out of hand.
You are gonna help me find it because you know exactly where it is.
Just calm down.
There's nothing. Let's tell the bar.
What the hell?
Shit!
I knew they weren't gonna get away. Come on. You wanna do it? Do it. Let's do it.
Do it, Jason.
You're a monster! Please.
For his part in the crime, Jason is convicted of murder and sentenced to 40 years. As for Lacey, she's convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life, plus 25 years.
What baffles me about this murder is that these two couples didn't even know each other. Carrie and Mike were simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. Lacey and Jason aren't your average killers either. It's a case of committing murder simply for kicks. When drugs and partying stopped doing it for them, they turned to burglary to get their fix. And when that wore thin, they decided to kill for sport. They needed a higher dose. They treated the entire crime like some game, absolutely no remorse. The only motive here is the thrill and excitement of not getting caught. They brought out the worst in each other. She was the dynamite and he was the match, and together, the thrill may be gone, but at least Lacey's, she's still got her scrapbook.
My life inside.
On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a wannabe social media star claims to have been the sole survivor of a late-night attack, she declares herself #blessed. But when police launch their investigation, nothing seems to add up, leaving them to ask how the attack really went down in #real life. Maureen, the manager of a local outdoor clothing and activity store, arrives at work one morning to find the front door unlocked. Assuming the supervisor from the night before has failed to close properly, Maureen simply continues on with her morning routine until she discovers a horrific scene.
I need the police.
And maybe an ambulance?
When they arrive, police search the store.
Please help me.
There, they discover the two 20-somethings who were scheduled to close the night before.
Please help me.
Emma is traumatized, but alive. Her supervisor, Taylor, however, isn't so lucky.
On the surface, this looks to be a robbery gone wrong. Very, very wrong. You've got one girl who's alive but badly injured, and another who's dead, having been beaten almost beyond recognition. My experience in the FBI tells me that you don't generally see this level of violence with a robbery gone wrong. They generally stop when you're dead. So I'm thinking there's more to this than meets the eye.
Emma, a budding lifestyle blogger and social media influencer, gives her statement to police.
It was horrible. Poor Taylor. She was my bestie. We closed up the store like we always do. Okay. It was so great. I know. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Mwah, mwah. Love you. Bye. But then I realized I forgot my house keys and my wallet, so I called Taylor and asked, do you mind coming back and letting me in to get them? So Taylor came back.
Just as Taylor was unlocking the door, two men rushed out of the shadows, grabbing the women and forcing them inside.
You, around there!
What?
Get around there and open the register!
I can't, it's locked!
Stop lying to me!
No, we already deposited it, there's nothing in there!
Open it up or I'm gonna hit you!
You're not listening, there's nothing I can do! No! Oh, run! Oh. No! No! No!
Emma becomes emotional as she describes hearing Taylor being beaten to death in the next room before being dragged in there herself.
And then I saw her lying there dead.
Emma says the men began panicking when they realized Taylor was dead. Terrified she would be next, Emma took a chance and pleaded for the men to spare her life.
Then I begged them not to kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I couldn't tell who they were, so I swore I wasn't going to tell anybody what happened. Don't kill me.
Just say anything, and we'll come back and kill you too. Come on, let's go.
Taylor!
I'm surprised that Emma was left alive. I mean, most of the time, criminals who are willing to beat and stab one young woman to death don't leave another alive to serve as an eyewitness to their crimes. Isn't that the reason they killed the other one? In fact, it's so unusual that Emma should be writing to the Pope because she just got her miracle.
As she finishes her tragic tale, Emma seems overcome by guilt.
If it weren't for me, Taylor would still be alive.
Detective Armstrong assures Emma that he'll do everything he can to bring Taylor's killers to justice.
Thank you.
The thing with victims like Emma, young, pretty, the whole bit, is that people see them as infallible. They can't lie or be mistaken. I mean, how could they when they look so innocent? But if there's one thing we should have learned by now in this age of social media, it's that the image and the truth don't always go hand in hand.
Emma soon discovers that surviving tragedy is a fast track to gaining followers. It only takes one post for her social media to go from recreational to aspirational. As Emma's harrowing attack goes viral, panic grips the town, and parents fear their children could be the assailant's next target.
Young people being randomly kidnapped or killed while their parents think they're safely at work, that's straight out of the Parents' Worst Nightmares handbook, which means one thing. There's going to be a lot of pressure to solve this case and solve it fast.
Detective Armstrong works around the clock, and his efforts soon pay off. Within a day, he finds two men dressed all in black on the store's security footage. Could these be the mystery assailants who attacked Emma and Taylor?
Emma's story of survival might be a social media sensation, but her story is anything but on fleek.
Armstrong.
Detective Armstrong tracks down the men from the security footage, but soon learns they simply cut through the strip mall's parking lot on their way to a party. With solid alibis for the remainder of the night, they're eliminated as suspects. When Detective Armstrong re-examines the crime scene, he discovers another issue. Emma said that there were 2 attackers, but there's only 1 pair of men's bloody footprints in the store, suggesting a single assailant.
There's a few reasons a victim's story may not check out. They may be traumatized so badly that they get details wrong. I've seen that. They may be so scared of their attackers that they lie to the police. Or they may lie to cover up something even worse.
As Detective Armstrong continues his investigation, he focuses his attention on single assailants who could have come into the store, and soon receives a flood of tips about one man.
Armstrong.
Sam. When Detective Armstrong looks into Sam's background, he finds a long rap sheet of petty crimes, as well as a history of being aggressive with women around town.
It's clear that Sam has no respect for law or women, and he hangs out at a local pool hall, which just happens to be down the street from the store Emma works at. And if that's not enough to raise a red flag, old Sam is often seen cutting across the strip mall parking lot en route to the pool hall. Yeah, that's enough to bring him in.
But when Detective Armstrong goes looking for Sam, he's not at his favorite hangout spot, but at the hospital, after getting into a fight a couple of nights before.
Sam, I'm Detective Armstrong. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
I guess. The man he finds is nothing like who the tipsters described.
We've been thinking Sam could be a cold-blooded killer who overpowered 2 young, active women, brutally murdering one of them. But this guy, he doesn't look like he could even take me down. And look at me, I'm old, I'm retired.
Detective Armstrong shifts his focus, hoping to still get some information out of his visit.
I'm investigating a murder that took place at the strip mall on the 5th.
I was in the strip mall.
You were in the strip mall?
I cut through there in the evening.
You cut through there what time, Sam?
About 10, I guess.
The night of the murder, Sam cut through the mall parking lot after the time Emma claims the women were pushed into the store.
Now, did you see anything? Anything out of the ordinary?
I didn't see anything.
You didn't see anything?
I heard lots of screaming and yelling.
Sam says he could hear raised voices from people arguing in the store.
Sam, how many men's voices did you hear?
Detective Armstrong gets an answer he never expected.
No men. Women.
Sam claims there were just 2 women yelling that night. Well, that doesn't line up with Emma's report, but let's face it, Sam isn't the most reliable witness. So the question becomes, whose statement is accurate, Sam's or Emma's?
Hoping for clarity, Detective Armstrong turns to store manager Maureen, who immediately raises her own doubts about Emma's story.
I just want to ask you a few questions about Emma and Taylor's friendship.
Friends. Emma and Taylor were never that close.
Really?
Maureen says that not only were Emma and Taylor not besties,
Okay, bag check time.
but Taylor had just accused Emma of stealing from the store.
Okay, yours?
Oh.
Okay, I'll,
Oh, yeah, I bought that earlier.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, the receipt is in the cash, and the cash is locked, so I'll be sure to show Maureen first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you. After you.
Taylor sent Emma home, telling her they'd discuss the issue again in the morning. Once she left, though, Taylor became increasingly convinced that Emma had stolen the tank top.
Hey, Maureen, it's Taylor.
Listen, I don't want to have to do this, but...
Taylor told me Emma had a swim scholarship at college and she lost it and she got kicked off the team when she was caught stealing.
Really?
Emma had been the star of her swim team and her future looked set. But she was unable to stop stealing and eventually was kicked out of school.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
There are two types of theft, normal theft and obsessive. Normal theft is deliberate and motivated. They want something, an item, or the cash they can get from selling it. Obsessive theft is more random. Most of the time, they don't even know why, but they can't stop themselves. This second kind of theft often points to larger issues.
That okay?
Emma could have paid for that top, but instead, she pulls a full-on Winona Ryder.
Emma had only just gotten her life back on track, developing an online presence and getting her job at the store. But now, a single tank top could derail her again. Detective Armstrong has concerns about Emma's story, and these only increase when he learns that Taylor's car has been found a block away from the store, with Emma's fingerprints and blood in it.
If it were just Emma's fingerprints and they were, say, on the passenger side, it would be easy to believe she got a ride home from work with Taylor one day. But her fingerprints and the blood were on the steering wheel. And that can only mean one thing. She was driving that car the night of the murder, and the perpetrators would never let her do that unless they're from the Dumb and Dumber School of Kidnapping.
When Detective Armstrong confronts Emma...
Okay, Emma, I have a question for you. We found your DNA in Taylor's car from the night of the murder.
She immediately breaks down.
Oh my gosh. I totally forgot.
She tells Detective Armstrong that the men who attacked her had seen Taylor's car double parked in front of the store.
Someone's gonna notice the car outside, and we're gonna get busted. You, go move the car.
What?
Don't move the car.
And they said if I wasn't back in 10 minutes that they were gonna kill me.
Emma claims she did exactly as she was told, parking the car a block away, then returning straight to the store.
Say you're in a hostage situation. You're the hostage, and the perps holding you hand you your car keys and tell you to be back in 10 minutes. Don't do it. Run away. Get away. Get your ass in that car and call the police. Even if there are still people being held hostage, your best bet is calling the police and then doing what the police tell you to, not playing nice with your kidnappers and hoping they'll take pity on you and let you live. They're not nice.
And I'm so sorry. I forgot. I remember now. The trauma from the night.
Like memory issues, trauma can lead to amnesia as people's brains literally block out aspects of the event they can't deal with. So it's completely possible that Emma had temporary amnesia. We get that. But most victims of crime don't leave out only those parts that might incriminate them. That's not temporary amnesia. That's convenient amnesia. And you usually only see that with people who have something to hide.
Detective Armstrong isn't convinced by his eyewitness's latest story, so returns to the scene of Taylor's murder, hoping to get some new insight on the case. After a short search, he makes a monumental discovery, a knife that could be the murder weapon. He preps it to be sent out for DNA testing.
This case is all about he said, she said. So finding a potential murder weapon, one that could have DNA evidence on it, is just what we need to figure out who's telling the truth and who's using a rose-tinted filter on their story.
Detective Armstrong goes over the rest of the crime scene with a fine-tooth comb. And soon hits pay dirt. A bloody shoe from a brand sold at the store. When he checks his new discovery against the male footprints in the store, he finds a perfect match.
So not only were these mopes letting their hostages have yelling fights and sending a hostage out to move a car, but now one is taking off his shoes to put on new shoes, walking around in them for a little while and then leaving them at the murder scene. If it weren't for Taylor's very real dead body, I think I was being punked.
Police send the shoes out for testing, and when the results come back, they clear up a lot of questions.
The blood on the outside of the shoe is Taylor's, and the DNA on the inside is Emma's. That means Emma handled those shoes the night of the murder. And what does that tell us? It says that Emma not only killed her coworker, but then went to elaborate lengths to cover it up, even inventing fake assailants and playing the victim. The problem was that Emma assumed police would automatically buy into whatever she told them. And in doing so, she broke one of the criminal commandments. Thou shalt never underestimate the popo.
Detective Armstrong confronts Emma, who sticks to her story.
Detective, I swear I'm the victim here.
But this time, Detective Armstrong isn't buying it.
I know there were no men there that night. The story does not add up. Tell me what happened that night.
He pushes Emma for the truth. And finally, it comes tumbling out.
Got all the details.
I did what I had to do. I stole the shirt, and she was gonna rat me out.
And once the two women parted ways for the night, she had obsessed about how Taylor was going to get her fired the next day. Hoping to talk to Taylor before she could report the incident, Emma called her, claiming to have forgotten her wallet and house keys in the store.
Emma tells police she just wanted Taylor to come back so they could have a private conversation. But you know where else you can have a private conversation? On the phone. If you ask me, Emma might not have known she was going to kill Taylor when she called, but she'd already decided to do whatever was necessary to make this situation go away.
Hey. Hey, thanks so much.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
Taking the responsibilities of her job seriously, Taylor came right back to the store. She even offered to help look for the lost wallet and keys.
Where do you think you left them? Behind here?
But Emma had other things on her mind.
No, I don't see anything.
If you say anything, my life will be ruined. Again. Please don't tell Maureen that I took the tank top.
Emma had her life fall apart once before because of stealing, and then just when she felt she'd gotten back on track, she saw everything about to slip away again. And that's when she went into self-preservation mode. And the problem with that is this. Even if people seem rational at first, when they get into self-preservation mode, anything can happen.
Emma, I'm really sorry. I already called Maureen.
Why would you do that?
I wasn't trying to get you in trouble. It's just...
Is your life so horrible that you had to ruin mine too?
Calm down.
Do not tell me to calm down.
I'm out of here. I have to go.
Taylor. Ah!
People who engage in obsessive theft are often really not concerned about how their actions impact others. They're addicted to the rush they get from breaking the law and getting away with it. Because of those things, we often see people who engage in obsessive theft escalate their criminal behavior over time. If you ask me, Emma was in a panic and a rage when she hit Taylor that first time. But once she got a taste of the violence, she found that the rush she got from that was even better than theft. And that's why she bludgeoned Taylor to death. She didn't want that moment to end. Emma may have done the crime, but she didn't want to do the time. So she moved Taylor's car to give herself a chance to cover her tracks. Then, realizing she couldn't, she decided to make new ones.
Knowing she couldn't get rid of the shoes that night, Emma hid them in the store, planning to come back for them later. Once the scene was set, Emma gave herself just enough injuries to make her story believable. then settled in and waited to be found the following morning.
Please help me. Oh, no, it's not good. Okay. Help me. Please help me.
Emma was so desperate to hold on to her life and her online status that she was willing to literally bleed for it. That shows the same kind of extreme behavior and impulse control issues that I suspect led her to steal and then to kill.
Having heard her confession, Detective Armstrong charges Emma with first-degree murder.
Emma, you're under arrest.
Emma is convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison.
Emma apparently got confused between slay the day and slay your coworker. It's easy to do. And so in trying to save herself from being fired over stealing, she got herself locked up for murder. Talk about your epic fail.